programmed your brain. We programmed your brain.
I will make you understand.
All right. Try and get back on the grid with you guys. And being completely honest, I've definitely been drinking. Been drinking a lot of beer. Been going through some shit though. You know what I mean? So it's like, not that that's an excuse. It's definitely not an excuse, but that's just kind of what's been going on. We knew that most recently that I left my apartment due to my scenario, at which I've already gone over. The new development is that the roommate scenario that seemed to be definitive is now not definitive. And there's a long story there as well. I'm not going to get into it at this point and bore you with it, but long story short, nothing against said party or said whatever, but in this world we need to rely on ourselves and not count on anyone else. Be self-sufficient, whatever. So, lesson learned there. Downside to that recourse is I actually ended up homeless for a second there. And it's funny, I was thinking like, manifestation, stuff like that, like what you speak is what you become, or what you focus on is what is. Perhaps even passively, because I've always made this joke, when someone's asked like, how you doing? I always say like, living the homeless man's dream. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, I ended up without a place to stay. And now I'm in a weekly motel, not in the best part of town. So that's interesting. It's an interesting chapter. I have since secured a place to go. So that's good. I will have a new place to live in a couple weeks. In the meantime, I'm living in an extended stay amongst the riffraff. There's definitely some riffraff there. It's not the worst extended stay. I mean, some of those are really, really not safe and not good. This one's all right. Again, not the best scenario, but not the worst. So going from the 2-week scenario that I was in to being homeless, I legit one day didn't take a shower and put on deodorant under a bridge, changed my shirt. So that's funny. But these are all like growing things, right? Growing pains. So, something to laugh about in the future, right? At least that's how I'm looking at it. So, could be worse, could be better. Drinking definitely is not the answer. I know that. Drinking does not help anything. If anything, it makes my mental state worse. And as I've mentioned many times on this channel, what's most important, from what I've seen in my research, is your mental state, what you focus on, that sort of thing. Being happy for what we have and not focusing on the negative. So, but when I drink at night, it just masks the issues, and then I wake up groggy and I don't make any forward progress. So, but I did not drink last night. I'm not drinking tonight, and I'm done drinking for the foreseeable future. I did have someone comment on a video and say, one of my drinking videos, and I was talking about I'd like to get to a point where I can drink in the future and it not be a problem. And he said that I was full of shit, that alcoholism is a disease, and the only way to beat it is to stop drinking. I understand that, but I also kind of feel like there's nothing in this world that is impossible. I'm sure there are certain things that are impossible, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot that isn't impossible. And one of those things, I think, is getting to a place where I can drink. But the problem is that my mind needs to be fixed first. I need to have kind of like a rebirth scenario to where I'm able to do that. And for me, what that takes is zoning out, like I've said before, and not drinking for a while, focusing on my own shit, you know, like little things like road rage, just anything, or being at a gas station and someone in front of you is taking their sweet ass time, and it's like, this sort of shit's always kind of like setting me off in a minor way, but even in a minor way, it's big, you know. It's like, God, what the fuck are you doing? Get your shit and go, you know. It's like that type of shit. I was at a racetrack last night, and this lady was at the counter talking about different cigarette specials for cartons and shit, and she's like looking at lottery possibilities and stuff, and my initial gut, you know, reaction or whatever was, get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. But I've realized that that's only hurting me, because it puts me in a state of mind that's negative, and I need to, in those moments, just understand that person's going through their own thing. They weren't being rude, they were being sweet, and me reacting in some kind of a frustrated manner in that situation doesn't really do anything except for get me riled up. So that's my new thing now, is trying to focus on what I can be thankful for and what I am thankful for, and not giving mind to the negative, and controlling my state of mind. So, you know, we can all control our state of mind if we just take a moment, deep breath, turn the shit around. You know, whatever's frustrating you, whatever's bothering you, take a moment, deep breaths, and think about something you're thankful for, something that makes you happy. So these are the things that I'm trying to work on now, and it's not easy. You know, I've said before, like, I got a lot of history growing up and like dealing with my dad and all that shit, and just the whole everything, just my whole life. There's a lot of woven, tangled webs of shit that I'm having to work through, and I know we all have that. You know, whatever it is, even if you're in a successful job and you're in a relationship, whatever the fuck, wherever you are, you got savings account, you're not homeless, there's still shit going on in your mind, you know? We all have that problem. Regardless of whether you drink to solve it or smoke weed or do whatever, we all have these things that we can work on doing better with our mind state and not feeding into what's negative. Because what we focus on is what we become, you know? So it's the same thing with like being successful in whatever career or whatever path you're on. If you think to yourself, well, I hope this can happen, that's probably not. But if you expect it to happen, then there's a much better shot in it happening. So, I don't know. I know I said before that I was going to get better at doing more videos and shit, and I am going to be doing that. But the past couple weeks have been fucking crazy. I spent essentially 48 hours being technically homeless. I mean, I slept in a bed in a hotel, but I don't have the money for that shit right now, you know. Luckily, my buddy who I was supposed to live with threw me some dollars to help cover that cost, and I found this extended stay place, and you know, it's I'm basically spending what I was spending at the apartment to live in a motel. You know, it's not the prettiest thing. There was like stains on the sheets and shit, so I changed those and put my sheets down. It's not the best scenario, but at least karma's not being picked up and moved everywhere. For a second there, I was driving 2 hours to my buddy's house in Fort Myers because I needed somewhere to crash. And then I realized, well, shit, now you're spending $35 a day in gas going to and from, plus wear and tear on the car, so that's not a good thing. And that got old real quick. So the second day I drove back with Karma in the car, and I was planning on checking into this place. I left Fort Myers early in the morning, got there before 10 with the intention on checking in, and the lady's like, I don't have anything right now. And I was like, oh, sweet. Just drove all the way up here. I got my dog in my car. I haven't showered. I need to go to work without my dog, preferably. I can take her sometimes, but it's not the best scenario. So anyhow, she said, I don't have anything right now, but I will have something by 2, because I'm kicking this motherfucker out. And I was like, oh, that's great side. So I got to take over the room of whoever this guy is, because he was like apparently the night before running around drinking and knocking on people's windows and shit and scaring people. Maybe not the meth heads because they're in their own world, but he was scaring all the other people. So anyhow, I have his place now, and so far he hasn't come back and like beat on the door, so that's good. Not the best scenario, but I know that drinking every night doesn't help anything. And so now I'm dusting off the cobwebs one more time, but I feel like this is my last low point. It's definitely like an awakening, you know, and we are where we are based on the choices we've made, you know. This all started because I was trying to help a buddy out and that sort of thing. But I guess in reality, I can't help anybody else in that sort of way until I help myself. And on that note, some of the shit that I say on this channel, you know, is like, it kind of comes across as like advice giving. And at the same time, it's like, well, Phil, what's up with you? You don't have your shit together. Most of it's just regurgitated shit that I've heard on different podcasts and stuff. I'm super into, obviously, Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. Every morning I listen to one of them on the way to work, and it helps me with my mind state. It helps set the tone for the day. So, anyhow, like I said, I've got a place I'm going to be moving to here in a couple weeks. So, pray for me that I make it through these 2 weeks with the damn riff-raffing and extended stay. But once I get through that, I'll be in a much better place. Shit'll be good. Not going to discuss exactly what that detailed situation is, because until it happens, nothing is in stone, but it looks good. I'm going to go through with the mind state of it is happening, and all that's good. So, that's the update. So yeah, I've been off the rocker, on the juice, whatever you want to call it, the past little bit, but I'm back to a clear mind now. Well, you know, one day of not drinking doesn't really do that, but I do feel better about the future knowing that I'm not going to be drinking. You know, some of those nights drinking, it's like, what are you doing, man? You know, sitting here in a fucking extended stay drinking, feeling sorry for yourself. It's not good. And part of what helps me is talking to my YouTube, to my peoples. So I am going to be doing more than that. I am done drinking again for the foreseeable future, and I will keep you guys updated. So that's all I got for now. I appreciate you all as always, and I hope you enjoy the beautiful views of Sand Key Beach. One love, real deal out.